Hey, welcome back to my channel, Serious Fact with Serious Black, doing a little dance. I am here today to do an interview with a very good friend of mine, writer, illustrator, game designer, consultant, sensitivity reader, Crook. Hi, Maad.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hey, CB. Hi, Slack Pack.
It's so good to have you here. I've been wanting to do this one for a while. I'm glad to have finally get you on here. Yeah,
I
you got a
took my
lot of titles.
time, my ever loving time.
Well, you got a lot of titles, so you're pretty busy. Um, you
Capitalism does that.
right? I've got your website pulled up, and you see everything's listed here, and how did you get started in these industries, I should say, and which came first?
Um, so I've been an artist since I was a kid, but um, I didn't actually do. Um, well, I worked retail a lot for my day jobs. Most of
Okay.
my day jobs, retail, social work. Um, and then in 2012, I um, was on the Womanthology comic anthology.
Hmm.
I didn't know I was non-binary at the time, but they were welcoming of non-binary people in
Which
the
is
in the
cool.
anthology. So that was my first start. It, and since then, because of mm, keeping busy with paid work, I have only dabbled in comics until recently. Finally finishing my own comic, web comic called Demonstrative. Like, it's not finished. I've finished the first two chapters.
Okay.
It's going to be an ongoing web comic.
But it's
Um,
something that's something that's ongoing right now, though, right?
yeah. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Well, here, let's talk about that for a second, because I actually have a copy here.
Hmm.
And
Yep. You got
first of all,
you got an exclusive.
it's right. Uh, gr- Great cover, by the way. I really
Thank you.
am in love with the illustration and the font choice, the coloring. Can you tell us a little bit about this project?
Yeah, it's a fantasy, but it's also autobiographical fiction. There's pirates, there's monsters, and there's a kid. This is them as an adult, but there's a kid who is growing up in abuse, and
Mm,
they grow up um, and take control back of their lives. It's a
hmm.
celebration of survival skills.
Okay. Okay. Look at this. Look at this, y'all. Do you see this? Isn't that pretty?
I grew up on the coast of North Carolina, so pirates and the water were really big for me.
Okay.
And that is a cardinal and slash cottonmouth snake. Cottonmouth snakes
That was my next
scare
question.
the poop out of me. They scare the poop out of me so much that I have written about them before. I was one of the people who wrote essays in the back of the Harrell County comic books that my husband Tyler Crook and Colin Bunn did. And
Yeah,
I wrote about water moccasins and how scary they are.
they are kind of scary. I got to see some in Tennessee when I was a kid,
Hmm.
actually, and I was not happy about it.
Can I tell you a scary story of an encounter with a cottonmouth I had?
Oh, yeah,
If it's
sure.
too scary, let me know.
No, it's okay. I'm willing to risk it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. When I was like in elementary school, my bus driver dropped me off in front of the giant field of this plantation house that was right next door to my house, my tiny little house.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the bus driver and I was all like, there was no sidewalk. So my only option
Of
was to
course not.
walk through the high grass of this big field.
Uh,
Um, and in our backyards, the backyard of my tiny house and of this big white house, was a swamp. So we had a lot of cottonmouths. And
mm,
so I looked at the bus driver, and I don't think that I was able to vocalize, but I'm sure my face said that I was scared shitless.
mm-hmm.
And the bus driver was all, nope, I'm not getting any closer, you get off here. And so I ran through that field, and I was looking down at my feet for every footstep, and I saw a cottonmouth, but I had already, like, I was booking it. It was too late. I couldn't avoid. And I swear I did the Mario Brothers thing where I jumped off of air, because and I saw the cottonmouth had its mouth open. It saw me coming, had its white mouth open, and I just like hopped off air and got a little bit higher and ran straight home. And oh my gosh. I was sweating and I was hiding in my room, and I cannot believe I made it without getting bit.
That's like straight out of an action movie.
Yes.
Mm-mm. Okay, yeah, that's scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
So cottonmouths scare me. So I apparently tell three stories now. Harrow County, this one, and now on Cerius Blaq.
You know, it's amazing what we're capable of when that adrenaline starts pumping. You know, like I've always been like a big guy, and even when I was little, like I remember a few times running away from things and surprising the heck out of friends of mine who watched me just scale a fence. No business, like $6 million man style. One time I ran through a fence.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah, kind of like Kool-Aid Man. I just ran right through it, and I was like, I'm not getting caught by, you know. It was, I think it was dog was chasing me. So.
Oh no,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
As much
Oh
as
my gosh.
the dog chasing you, those are sharp teeth.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I'll tell that story some other time. I've been bit by a lot of things throughout my life, but I'll save that for another episode.
Okay.
Okay. But before I move on to the next slide, I
Yeah.
did want to say, like, I love the choice to have the title be reflected like that in the water. It just adds so much to this scene, this double page
Thank
here.
you.
That's
I'm trying to make even though this is a story about an abuse, it's also about survival skills and the fun that a kid, or in this case them as an adult, would still have, and the wonder that they have for this world.
mm.
It's important for me to reflect that.
No. I mean, and both can. I mean, it's fair that both things can happen simultaneously. You know, like that kind of
Absolutely.
goes hand in hand. And here is the second page. So I wanted you slackers to see what the panel layouts look like, and some of the illustration and the colors and the pinching cheeks.
Those are so the main character is in green there, wearing some coveralls just like me,
Hmm.
and their name is Kidum, and that is their twin brothers who are younger than them.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I like the jumpsuit.
I also have twin brothers.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I'm not the twin. They are the
Well,
twins.
no, I know, I know,
Yeah.
but like I didn't know you had twin brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're back in North Carolina. They stayed. I left.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to show you guys too much because I want y'all to actually. I'm going to put the link to this in the description, so I want you to go check it out. I don't want to reveal too much here, but I wanted you to get an example of what this looks like because I think it's dope. It's something that I'm going to be following, reading
Thank
this
you.
adventure. So, Yeah, that's pretty. Thank you for sharing this with us, by the way. And
Yeah.
it sounds like this is a very in-depth, personal adventure story that I think
Hmm.
people will be able to relate to. So I'm looking forward to that. You know, like when I interview creators such as yourself, it's always like, well, where do I go next and all that, because you got so much here. But I think the next thing I want to do, because you said that this started first, I think I want to go to these illustrations and
Oh
talk
yeah.
about this.
Hmm.
If you wouldn't mind just picking out a couple and tell us what inspired you to do some of these.
Well, let's see. Um, I play a lot of D&D. I
Mm-hmm.
am a D&D Adventures League community manager. That's one of my paying gigs.
Yeah.
And so so a lot of these are related to D&D. That vampire bat character was one of my characters that I played. Um, the right to the right of it, that's one of the characters that I did for a D&D adventure. um, Let me refresh my memory for the name of the adventure. This is an adventure written by Kat Kruger,
Oh,
and that is the evil queen, clockwork, made out of clockwork.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, she don't look nice. she don't, but
no.
she does look powerful and capable.
Yeah, the designs for that was inspired by Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
And the adventure is called A Stitch in Time. And you can find all of my adventures on
Ooh.
dmsguild.com.
Okay. Okay. We're
The
gonna. I think we'll look at some of that too.
okay.
DMskill.com. Okay.
The cat to the far right is from one of my adventures. Um, if someone looks at the picture and they zoom in, they'll notice that there's something kind of weird going on with this cat's eye.
I knew it. I was looking at that right now. I was gonna just like, it almost looked like the cat had a monocle, but like also, I'm like, no, that's a choice with whatever's going on with that cat's left eye right there. Um,
The name of the adventure is Vacant, and it has to do with uh, uh, voids and holes,
ooh.
and monsters that come from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that
And,
has
and,
the
and that's a totally normal cat,
okay?
CB.
That was my next question. Okay.
Totally a normal cat.
Um, the one at the bottom to the left, is that also inspired by Alice in Wonderland?
Yes, that's
Okay.
that's the cover.
Okay.
That's the cover image for a Stitch in Time.
Okay.
And then the one to the right of the rabbit one, that's the cover for. This was really fun.
Okay.
I volunteered to work with an organization that's uh, no longer active in the
Hmm.
D&D community. They were called Jasper's Game Day.
Okay.
A teenage girl had started Jasper's Game Day after her friend died from suicide.
Oh.
And I volunteered to work with another org called the. One moment. Let me make sure I get it right. The American Association of Suicidology. I
Hmm.
worked with one of the people from the board. His name is Chris Maxwell. And we worked together, not just getting his expertise on the topic, but also worked together. We collaborated on making an adventure where uh, players get to help people in a community who
Hmm.
are affected, their mental health is affected by
Oh
something
wow.
in the community. And it gives tips, real life tips on how to help. people who are having these thoughts.
That is very touching, very impressive. I would like to see more of that around. Period.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And,
it's.
and that's such a great opportunity to practice some of these skills, like real life skills that make us a better friend.
I feel like this is something that I could look into and add to my uh, arsenal. I will say for uh, my mental health practices that I preach to people and try to embody.
Yeah.
Um,
And
it's
just
a
to
lot.
remind ourselves.
Exactly. As a lot of my slackers know, that's actually one of the main purposes of this channel is to support mental health practices, and this is right in line with what I'm looking for. So thank you uh,
Hmm.
for doing this and sharing it. Um,
Yeah.
um, Separate question. Uh,
Hmm.
I've seen the illustration all the way to the right before.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I made it specifically as a gift for one of our friends.
That's what I thought. I'm like, wait a minute now.
So I cannot remember the friend's name now, though.
I think I know who it is. I think it's
Okay.
you know what's funny? It's a friend of mine whose initials is CB.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm not going to say her name on
No.
here, but I'm pretty sure that was a gift from my homie CB,
Yeah.
who I will be seeing this weekend actually. So,
Who loves cats, uh,
yep.
loves Catwoman, loves Power Rangers and
Mm,
dinosaurs, and also wrestling. So I
yep.
took all of those cat related
Mm.
uh, characters and put them into one shirt.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant because I do know, like, I know her personally, and like this is so her. This is perfect.
And I know her favorite cat women are Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt. And
Absolutely.
my favorite is Eartha Kitt. So I
So
was so happy to get to draw her.
yeah, that's dope. I love this. I love this. Oh my gosh.
And I got her permission to show it off.
Okay, cool.
But I waited more than a year before I did. So that the shirt, the t-shirt that she got could be 100% just hers.
Very cool. Yeah, it's very cool. God, this is really cool stuff. I really like the different styles that you present here as well. Uh, who is this deity?
That is a character named Tomicus from my very first D&D adventures that I ever wrote. I wrote
Okay.
those back in 2015. Um, so I do you mind me
No,
talking a little bit about
no,
what
please.
got me started in D&D? That's such a common question
No,
for
no, no.
D&D
Actually,
folks.
that's perfect. You can tell us
Okay.
that, and then I can show people some of your D&D work
Okay. So I loved the D&D cartoon growing up. Did you ever watch that?
all the time.
Yeah. I loved it growing up. But
Yeah.
it was also when it was out, it was also during the Satanic Panic.
Mm-hmm.
So you could watch the cartoon safely, at least in my house, I could watch it safely. But any mention of D&D would have been like, no, that's satanic. People die when they play D&D thanks to that anti-D&D movie
Yeah.
with like Tom Hanks in it, wasn't that it?
It
Wasn't
was. Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so there, and also I didn't know anybody who was playing D&D. My town was too small to even have a game store in it.
Mm,
So there I there was just no way for me to play D&D. And Satanic Panic lasted into the 90s.
quite a while. Yep.
Yeah. So I just never really had an opportunity until I went to high school. I had two friends who were twins, and they both played D&D, and their big sister would be a DM for them
Aw.
and her friends. And so I got to, when I would go hang out with them at their house, one of the things we would do is, oh, Tibbs just came in. Let me see if I can.
I don't know why I'm moving my head like I can, you know. I don't know why.
So, just to catch up on, to restart what I was talking about before I unplugged the mic. So, I had friends who were twins. Their sister was the DM.
Okay.
I would go over to their house, and we created so many D&D characters. And I don't know if you remember at the time in the 90s, they I don't think it was Wizards of the Coast at the time.
Not yet. No, not in the 90s. I don't think. Yeah.
They had another like a D&D, but only it was post-apocalyptic, and it was a furry post-apocalyptic game called Gamma World.
Oh, okay. I heard about this.
It was mutated animals, mutated humanoid animals, in a post-apocalyptic world.
That sounds kind of dope.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of dope. I'm gonna play that.
So I made Gamma World characters, and I made D&D characters with them. And every time when their sister would come back home, I would yell, "Can you please run a D&D game for me?" Every time was all, no, she was too tired, or she was just over it. So I never played D&D. I was in my 40s, and I got so mad that I had never played D&D before. And this actually relates a little bit to my abuse. I pressed charges against my abuser, and during the satanic panic, it was like the tail end. Like by that time, people were already figuring out that it was just BS. The whole satanic panic thing was BS. But I was told that my user had said that I was making stuff up because D&D had messed with my head. And yes, and that I had just made it all up because I was crazy from playing D&D, which I had actually not ever played D&D, and even if I had, it would not have made me lie about abuse. So I had a lot of resentment by the time I was 40 that I had not played D&D yet. So I talked in 2015. Critical Role had just started doing their actual plays, and that was that's it. Enough of this. Enough of the satanic panic. and F you to my abuser. And I am gonna play D&D. So I called up a friend that I believe you probably know, Corey Cassoni.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he's in the comics community as well. And he was all, "Oh yeah, let's play D&D." I loved it. And that night when I went to sleep, my dreams were so vivid that I had come up with much of the story for a D&D adventure, which I promptly wrote. I wrote it down. And then when we were done playing the adventure, when Corey was done playing the adventure, I was all, okay, when are we going to play again? Everyone was all, well, you know, we're busy making comics, so
Yeah.
I don't know when we're going to have time to do this again. I was all, I want to play every week. And that's how I found, yeah, that's how I found D&D Adventures League, which is Wizards of the Coast's organized play. And everybody plays by the same rules. So then I could take my character from one game store to a convention and play the same character, and just continue that adventure. No matter where I was at, I would probably be able to find a game. And if I couldn't find a game, then I could DM my own game by using those rules. And I liked how short the adventures, the one-shot adventures are. Especially for someone who was very nervous about DMing and thought for a long time that, no, I wasn't good enough. I have to keep playing. Anyway, once I started playing Adventures League games, I met someone named the event organizer. Her name's Davina, and she's amazing. And she helped me write 3 adventures, which are called the Bleeding Gate trilogy. And that was all from my super creativity sparked dream that I had.
Just from that one dream, damn. I mean, you went from there. Wow.
It was a really intense, long dream, CB. You don't understand.
I think I'm starting to.
It was like one of those. It was one of those dreams that you feel like you have a whole lifetime in just.
And you wake up. You wake up tired.
Yes.
Wake up tired from stuff you did in the dream, and and, I mean. Wow. Okay, and I want to touch on those first modules you talked about, but I'm also on your page looking at your catalog, and you've got a ton of stuff on here that you have worked on.
Yeah, I've worked on some anthologies, and they're the the Uncaged anthologies.
Okay.
And then I also did a lot of work. Adventures League used to write their own adventures. I've also worked with some premier organizers who run conventions, and they worked with Adventures League to have their own set of adventures. So I did some of those.
Okay.
And I wrote my own stuff just for the heck of it. And every time I write an adventure, I put in a hook or something, or it's like I continue some characters from the Bleeding Gate adventure that are in the other adventures that I write.
Okay, and that's this one here, Bleeding Gate Pandemonium, and this is the first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then move over to here, we've got Amalgamation.
Yeah.
And then
that's a giant gibbering mouther.
I was going to ask about what that was, but And then the third one is Lineage, and everything that's in Bleeding Gate, the other stuff you make still ties to Bleeding Gate somehow. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's particularly there's some things that I'm not able to sneak in because of the adventure was already planned by the event organizer. There wasn't room for me to sneak anything in, but most of the stuff, it does have a hook or something, or a character.
Okay.
And that's Upside Down Beholder.
That was the upside. That was what that was. Okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. Okay, that's crazy. I like it. This is the other one you were talking. The Shadows Under Ice image is the one
Yeah.
you were talking about earlier. I see that.
Hmm.
Um, what is Protege Trampling Forest though? I saw that earlier, and I was like, that's such an interesting title.
That's one that I did for a convention, but I would had uh, total creative design for it. They just asked
Okay.
for an adventure that they could run, uh, do a premiere at the convention, and yeah, that one I had so much fun with. Um, it opens up with the adventurers in a big clearing, and they hear thundering noise and feel the ground moving beneath their feet. And what they see coming towards them is a giant section of forest that has just uprooted itself off the ground and is running on its roots right straight towards them to trample them. A trampling forest. And then your job is to figure out why the heck this is going on to stop it before settlements and people and animals just are killed by this trampling section
I
of
don't know
forest.
about y'all. I don't know about y'all, but that made me nervous as hell just now. I mean, that sounds dope, but like, jeez, it's like that's like Curse of Strahd level scary. That's kind of. All
Yeah,
right
yeah.
then.
Like how do the adventurers survive just the giant
I,
section of forest coming up
right,
on them? We'll have to figure. They'll have to figure it out. The players have
man.
to figure it out.
Your dice rolls better be good as hell.
Yep.
I mean, wow. Okay. And is there any other campaigns here that anybody should know? Actually, I want to take a look at this real quick because you mentioned that image. I want to see that up. Yeah. Oh my God.
A
Mini.
giant gibbering mouth.
Yeah. Minnie
Yeah.
Mouse.
I like giant things that just seem like there's no way out.
Right. That's oof. All right. I'm on to you. No. I did see if I saw correctly. Is there more than one Uncaged as well, or is that?
Yeah, there
Yes,
were
there's
several
three.
volumes.
Yeah, there's three of
Well,
these.
three
Okay,
that I
cool.
was involved in. I think there's maybe five.
Oh, okay.
Because there were some
I'm
volumes
assuming.
that my schedule was too tight to participate in. But that's the first
Ooh,
one. Yeah, very good.
yeah, that's
And the
dope.
same people that started that have started the Storytelling Collective. So if anybody had ever thought about doing any writing, making adventures, writing comics, writing prose, fan fiction, they have classes. They have workshops all the time at
What?
Storytelling Collective. I believe it's called Storytelling Collective.
Okay. Oh, I found it, and I will
Yeah.
be making. I'll make sure that I put a link for this in the description of this video because that's really cool. Uh,
Yeah. The people
I'm a
that were first involved with the anthology just continued wanting to help more people and wanting to learn new ways to write.
look at that. I know so many people that I'm going to pass this to. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
um, let's talk about another aspect as well, real quick. You also act as a consultant. Like, what kind of gigs are you taking in that industry?
Um, so I have worked some with D&D
Okay.
adventures,
Yeah.
and then people have hired me just for their own work to just have a second pair of eyes to go over
Mm-hmm.
their work, looking for things that they might miss, as far as like representation, being respectful, um, that kind of thing.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I've actually
Mhm.
hired a sensitivity reader a few times in my various careers, just because I don't. I think, well, one, I'm trying to make sure that people understand that that is something they should regularly do, is seek out a sensitivity reader, because even as good as you think your writing is, you need a different set of eyes on it, and then
Yeah.
somebody with a focus, not just an editor, but somebody with a focus on making sure that the audiences
Yeah.
can appreciate the work,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And
not
that
be,
you're
yeah,
the message you're trying to say is getting across,
yeah,
um, in an effective and respectful way. The sensitivity readers, consultants are on your team wanting to make your work even better than it already is.
yeah,
And,
but
and they don't make any edits or anything. They just pass on what they're seeing. And what one sensitivity reader sees is not what another will see. We're just as human as the writer is. So we're gonna
yeah,
miss things too.
a
But
prime, yeah, a prime example. I can think of two examples uh, where somebody clearly didn't have a sensitivity reader. And well, one was, I was in a Facebook group for like comic writers, and this one guy wrote this post that says, "How do I make my comic that has a female lead protagonist without making it all womany?"
oh geez.
And I
Yeah.
was like, "You needed a sensitivity reader for this post, dog."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was a dumb question.
Yeah.
And then like earlier today on Instagram, because I get, I follow a lot of Kickstarters and independent comics and all that, and I got this advertisement for this comic that was the most dude broish thing I'd seen all month, and it was just like, it just screamed of like, I'm about to be offensive
Oh yeah.
in some ways,
Yeah.
and
And we sometimes we don't even mean it. We don't realize that we're doing it.
yeah,
Sometimes it seems more obvious than other times, but
yeah,
I think for the vast majority, no one wants to lose audience members, lose
no,
readers.
no, they don't. Well, okay, I will. There is an exception to that. Let's talk about that for a sec. And
Mm-hmm.
it's something I've been thinking about since I've started this channel. Like, a lot of times, because I am a male presenting, and I do go by he him, but I also
Mm-hmm.
accept they them.
Okay.
People will just assume things about my channel and what it's supposed to be. And a lot of people don't understand that, in my Slack pack, I expect this to be an all inclusive space. And I don't tolerate stuff in the comments. Like, I'm willing to lose subscribers for what I believe in. And
Yeah.
it's just a way, like, I started this channel to have fun. And if people can't get behind some of the messaging that I say, and the guests that I have, and things that I include, and things I talk about, like, you're welcome not to be here.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna like change my morals or my beliefs or values for entertainment's sake.
No, I don't want to hurt someone else so that I can get a certain segment of the population
Exactly.
to like my stuff.
Right.
No, but the readers that I have in mind that I think I would appreciate my work, I don't want to cause them anxiety or like trigger some negative memory, or
Exactly.
if they are part of the population that I am representing in this character, I want them to be able to look at that character and go, yeah, that's an honest representation. I
Hmm.
don't want them to be weirded out by a character that was supposed to be represented a member of their community.
Exactly. And that's really what the job is, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's not. It doesn't have to be insulting, and it doesn't have to be like you have. If as long as you can humble yourself enough to take in that view, you're like, if you're trying to make the good project, bring in that extra person who has that mindset and eyes that help you
Mhm.
just like consider that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and they're like the sensitivity readers that I've worked with for demonstrative. They've made me aware of things like I know that you were wanting to say this, but it doesn't really come across as obviously as I think you're wanting. And then I'm all, yeah, you're right. So I change the dialogue, or I draw something different in the panel to make it more obvious.
yeah. And I wish I had those I wish I had people like that for myself, just in life in
In
general,
life in general.
coming up, you
In
know,
my brain.
right
Like,
in my brain, like it's like no, don't say that.
yeah, please
say
don't
that,
say that.
say this instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I saw that your information for consulting is listed on your website as well, and like I said, that'll be listed in the description as well. So that if somebody needs a consultant for in this type of vein,
Yeah.
you know, my art is available.
And I list on my website my expertise too.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we still got a couple more things to talk about because okay, like professionally, you do all these things, and then but like so this next thing, I honestly don't know if this fits into professional work for you or hobby work for you because
Okay.
it's kind of cheating because you're on this show, Comic Book Cooldown,
Yeah.
with your husband.
Yeah, Tyler Crook. Yep.
Okay.
The Comic Book Cooldown. It's every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time on Mr. Tyler Crook. Excuse me, the Mr. Tyler Crook YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I have watched a little bit. I'm going to play a little bit of this for y'all so you can just get a gist of what it's like. But here we go.
Hoy, hoy, everybody.
Hey!
That's
What's
you.
cool, everybody?
I can hear you.
Forgot
Hey,
to.
Mark. Sorry if I already missed you. Hope you have a good time. Mark Tweedale brings up a good thing to think about. Colin Bunn has a new YouTube channel called The Colonoscopy, where he just talks about horror stuff. And the first episode went up today, and it's a doozy. It's great. I watched it for lunch.
Okay.
Colonoscopy is spelled Cullenoscopy.
Awesome.
Hey, Carrie.
Hey, Keith. Hey, Alpha Llama Llama.
Let me say hi to our own Slack
Hey,
pack.
y'all.
Nice. This is pretty cool.
This one might be a short one. I feel like I say this all the time, where I'm like, it's gonna be a short one,
And it's
then
not
it
always a
ends up
short
not
one.
being. But I'm probably not going to draw anything today. I thought I would show this. I did a little bit more on this guy's hair last Sunday.
Hi,
And
Seth.
then called it quits on this guy. It's already very dry, which is
It's an oil
nice.
painting.
Yeah,
on
I can
paper.
tell.
I guess it's been a whole week, but
That's a new
so I have had some paintings that
neat
after a week
that
are
he's
still
working with.
not quite dry.
or new again.
This guy's great, and man, I am really loving this Arches oil paper. The pad for this looks like this.
Oh, Keith's disappointed that you pulled the tape without them, honey. Did you record it?
No, sometimes my tape peels are private.
You know what's funny about that, y'all? He is dead serious about that. First of all, the tape peels is a very serious thing on their channel. People love that, and I
Yeah.
get it. 'Cause I watched a few of them myself. But yeah, that's just a gist, and it's live each time, right? You just
Yeah.
kind of go live every Friday, and y'all like, how do you pick a project to talk about, or like, how do you decide what you're gonna do?
I don't pick at all.
Oh, okay.
And Tyler is a comic book artist. He works mostly in watercolor and gouache, and he's done books like Harrow County, Lonesome Hunters, and his newest one that's been out is Out of Alcatraz.
Yep.
And which has its 4th issue coming out at the end of this month.
Yep. I have read the first issue when it first came out. I got it from Excalibur, and me and my buddy Liddell read it, and we were like, yeah, we need some more of this because this is great. This is crazy.
Yeah. The writer for that one is Chris Cantwell.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a really great story. Anyway, Tyler's the comic book Cooldown is him drawing, talking about art, flipping through books, flipping through sketchbooks. He tries out new tools and techniques, talks about his own techniques. People in the chat ask questions.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I could hear you there. So you're kind of like a moderator as well?
Yeah. I watch the chat, and I'm their voice so that Tyler can respond to them, and he doesn't have to look at the chat.
Which is probably good since he's doing the stuff. So is this a fun endeavor for you, or just something like how do you feel about it? Like, you have a good time? Or?
It is fun. I'm a fan of Tyler. even if I weren't married to him, I would think that his work is beautiful.
Oh, it is.
And I love the mix of scary and beautiful, which is something that he really enjoys doing. Lonesome Hunters and Harrow County are both like supernatural, but with like monsters, really beautifully colored in watercolor. But also, I love to mix in. I love it when stories mix in with the monsters, that heartfelt human.
Yeah.
Just.
I mean, that's probably why. And I've said it to Tyler a few times, though. He knows that I love Harrow County. Like, it's one of my favorite books. I have the library edition collection. And before I had that, I had all the soft covers, and then I sent them to like 5 different people. It's like, yo, you got to read this. You got to see this art. You got to see how the art matches up with what they're saying. And then, like, it's like,
and then you didn't get them back, did you?
I didn't. But which is funny because the person that didn't give them back to me now lives here with me.
Oh. So you got them back in a way.
I did get them back in a way, yeah. But then we gifted them with somebody else, and then you know. So yeah, one of my favorite series. I've got a little bit of art from it, and I'm glad that I love the fact that you two are doing this project together. You know, because it just makes sense. Like, I think there's a lot of people who have similar endeavors like Tyler does, but they don't have a Ma'at. and that's, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, you could use a Ma'at, you know.
Has anybody ever told you about the wonder of Ma'at?
Well, they're gonna know about it now. So this is a side endeavor you do. Like, okay, so when you're not doing all of the comics and the and the new webcomic and the game design and all that, what do you do for fun? Or just chilling? Like, how do you? How do you chill? Well, I'm gonna imagine you try to play D&D, but like, what else?
I try to. Yes. I would like to get back to playing more. My chronic illness has been flaring up for the last 4 years, and it's made it very difficult to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping I'll be able to get back to playing more often soon. Okay. I garden with my Tyler's parents and sister that live next door to us.
Oh,
we both yards have gardens in them, and this year, knock on wood, we're hoping we'll have a bigger harvest that we can share with more of our neighbors and even donate to the food bank.
Man,
yeah,
they are just these people, y'all. You understand? Okay.
Well,
and that's why I like them so much, because they genuinely like try to help people.
It's like doing what you can to help sure does help me with not feeling so hopeless and trying to make my world, the world around me, a little bit better.
What do you guys growing anyway? Like, what you got? I'm sure you got probably a wide variety, but like.
I'm very disappointed that okra doesn't do good in Oregon. I miss okra like I had in North Carolina. It was so plentiful there. So I have failed recently on 2 tries to grow okra from seed. And I have given up. Tyler's dad is actually a horticulturist. He's been one since he was 8 years old when he asked his dad to please buy a plant nursery for the family. And so he has a lot of knowledge. And when I told him how disappointed I was, he was all, okra's just not going to grow in Oregon. Sorry.
I'm making a mental note of that for my own garden.
Yeah. So right now we have planted hot peppers, bell peppers. We've planted tomatoes and planted corn and squash from seed. The other ones are planted from seedlings.
Okay.
I'm looking out the window to try to remind myself. We have grapes and beans. And some greens. We've got lots of stuff.
Okay, no, that's dope. And you know, that was a trick question. I was just trying to figure out where I'm going during like whatever apocalypse happens.
Yeah. Well, you'd be welcome. You would be welcome. We would want to share. One of my favorite spices is lovage. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
I had never heard of it, and it's not like something you can buy from the store.
Nope.
It is a leafy. It's kind of got the leafiness of like cilantro, only it's a ginormous plant. It grows like 8 feet tall or higher, and it tastes like celery. I love dehydrating it. And then like all winter, like summer and winter long, I can just do a little sprinkle in my food and lovage, a celery, a powdered celery flavor tastes so good in so many foods.
It does. I used it in a salad, a pasta salad I was making once.
Yeah, the leaves, you don't have to dehydrate them, but the leaves are really good in salads. Like, oh my gosh, it would be so good in like a tuna salad.
Yeah.
Or a crab salad.
It was a tuna pasta salad I was making. So,
yeah.
Here's the funny thing. Here's how I know what lovage is. It was by accident. Because there is a music group called Lovage, and I was looking for them online and found that instead. And I was like, what? What is this? You know.
Nice. Okay, Sean. If I forget, your next Christmas gift is going to be powdered lovage. And if I forget, you remind me.
Ooh, okay. I also recently just discovered Toum. Have you had Toum?
No,
Toum.
I have heard of it. Yeah,
it's a Lebanese sauce, like a garlic sauce or something, that people said that they've been using in their tuna recipes as well. So I'm getting ready to look for that, so I can try that out. Is
that something that y'all saw on Tasting History? It seems like I recognize the name.
No, actually, I got it from another guest. I got it from my Gretchen Brooks interview.
Oh yeah,
because she's been using it, and she's the one who told me about it, and I was like, oh, okay. Word up.
That was a great interview. I haven't finished watching it, but it's already.
It's a good one. She's an interesting Portlander.
Yeah.
So the gardening. I mean, even on the hot days.
Even with my broken toe, I get out there and I water every day.
All right. You know, so, hey, as long as you got it in you, I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect that hustle because, I mean, it's important and it can be fulfilling work. I can see how, I'll be honest, for me, like, we do have stuff growing, and that's mostly my wife and my roommate doing it. I barely mow the lawn on time, but I'm trying to get there.
I have, starting this year, I have no grass in the front yard. It's amazing.
Oh, we're going to have to talk about that later because I've been trying to I'm thinking about doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. cardboard. Save up your cardboard.
Okay, I will.
It's a gardening trick. Y'all can look it up if you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm working. No, I've heard about that because I'm working on that, and I'm working on a compost bin. So
nice. Yeah.
So D&D, gardening, anything else? Like, do you make time for like reading, music, movies, all that stuff? Or?
Yeah, reading is something that I really love to do, and there are times in my life where my brain gets so stressed out that I cannot read. I just cannot. I will open the book and I will not even be able to finish a word because my brain just cannot process it. Sometimes even if I can finish a few words, by the time I get to the second or third word, I've completely forgotten about everything that I read. And I don't even understand the sentence.
I've been there.
So like with fascism and and sometimes like life moments, like I had cancer in 2017. Those kinds of things can cause that to happen. So since 2017, I've had a really hard time reading. And then like I went on vacation for my birthday in May. And I was actually able to read, and I finished a whole book. I'm very proud of myself, CB.
That's what's up. Okay. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I do love reading. I love all sorts I love reading about pirates.
I'm shocked.
I love reading comics. So like I've had a growing stack beside my bed just of things that I kept trying to read, which was good because I think trying eventually got to me to be able to read. Just that and practicing better self-care and just giving myself time to be able to get there. But yeah, I love reading. I love making things. I enjoy sewing.
Ooh.
I love teaching my cat Tibbs tricks. She knows how to shake and high five. She knows how to give me a little dolphin, when cats jump up on their back legs. Yep. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I wonder if I could teach my cats anything.
It depends on the cats, but Tibbs was just like, okay, here's how I found out that she would be great at learning tricks. We had a dog who died just because she was really old. And when we got Tibbs 3 years ago, To the Pants, our dog, was still alive. And so I was doing tricks with her. And I told her to sit. And after we'd had Tibbs for a while, I noticed that Tibbs was coming right beside her and was sitting when I did the little hand signal. I was like, oh, we're on to something now. So I told her everything, like To the Pants knew shake, high five. So I would have them both sit. And when they both did the tricks, I gave them treats.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I like that. I think the closest I can get is that my cat Batman will answer to his name anywhere in the house.
But your other cats don't answer to their name?
No. But if I can say Batman anywhere, like in the house, and he will go, and then come right over to me.
Yeah. So. I love that.
Yeah.
I think the only cat that I've had recently was who didn't do that was deaf. So, but everybody else that I've had, all the other cats I've had have answer to their names. Oh, that'll be interesting. Any future cats that might be all, no, I'm not coming.
Yeah, well, Thursday's a jerk in general, so he's not,
that's his personality.
Yeah,
he's all, I hear you.
He's like, I hear you, but he would look right at me and just.
Yeah.
No, man,
Yeah,
I'm doing
here.
this. I'm doing this. So I would imagine because like you've been sharing a lot with us, and that like a lot of this stuff. I mean, you kind of mentioned it, but like you've been through some rough things, and and like the world we live in right now. Like, how do you maintain mental balance with all of this, if at all?
Well, listen, I need to get in therapy. I'm looking for a therapist, and that's really hard with how busy people are, and also trying to work with insurance. Insurance is not great.
No.
Capitalism. And
Facts.
so I am looking for a therapist right now because I really don't want. I'm not using demonstrative as a therapy outlet for myself, because that would be therapy in a vacuum, and I need a professional. But I do have. Go. You go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Oh no! Please, I was just going to say I'm glad people know that. Like, I'm glad you know that. Like, that you need it. But go ahead.
And that would risk me traumatizing other people. So the consultants I work with are experts in that field, so that I try to minimize any traumatizing.
Okay.
But for my own self, I am looking for a therapist. I have, in my years of therapy, I have learned some coping skills that I try to remember and practice. I've got self-care written on my knuckles.
Oh my God, that's so dope.
As a reminder for me to do self-care, and I forget often.
You're not alone. You're not alone in that. But I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. I try. Meditation has always been a struggle for my brain, and I don't know. In my 50s, I am finally able to, without being completely frustrated, with myself, and so. I try to be mindful. I try to tell myself that I am safe in this room. I have people around me like CB and Tyler that love me, and Tyler's family, which are my family too. I call them mom, dad, and his sister is my sibling too. That's
so cute.
So yeah, those are some things that I do to try to stay. I really have a hard time with hearing the really traumatic news of events going on right now, and feeling hopeless, because it just feels so big. And these are authority figures who are doing this. These are the people that are in power. Even when out of power, it's going to take decades to get some of the stuff back, or even improve on what we've got going on.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So it helps me to get out of that hopelessness by actually doing something. I volunteer. I have recently signed up as a volunteer for a domestic violence and sexual assault survivor agency.
Okay.
I'm not able to be an advocate anymore, but I told them, if you have a flyer or a handout for a presentation that you want some art for, just email me and I will do some art for you.
Nice.
and so it's just a small thing, but it helps me feel like I am doing something. When I get back to being able to run D&D games more regularly, I'll go back to my library as a D&D as a DM,
Okay.
and run weekly games.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
And
I think you're right though. Like
go ahead.
it's not a small. I mean, it may seem like a small thing, but it's a thing that you're contributing to, that something that matters. And not to say other stuff doesn't matter. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, it's good that you're doing that. It's needed. It's necessary. And then, like, just right now, you told, just by talking about it right now with my audience, maybe somebody didn't even know that was an option, or that they should think about organizations out there like that they can do something else for. So
They're losing funding. Our libraries are losing funding.
yeah.
Social work agencies that serve our local community, and we may need to take advantage of someday. They've had their budget cuts for years. And so anything we can do to help, donating food, donating clothes. They often have lists of items that they're looking for.
I mean,
Something,
honestly,
yeah.
Slack Pack, there's organizations in probably every single one of your areas that can use some help like this, or
Yeah.
just anything you can contribute. Just this morning, I was reading about the lack of funding or removal of funding for PBS and NPR, and what we can do about that. So I've got some plans for this evening.
Oh, good.
But yeah, and it's similar to you. I think that's how I cope as well. Just trying to do little things here and there, and just to keep talking about things, but not just posting. Like, I post a lot of stuff. Obviously, people see that, but like, I try to talk to people and then look at the actions that we can do. Because honestly, yeah, I think a lot of us feel hopeless right now. Like, because we're so unsure, like, how we can be effective. So when I find one where something says I can be effective in some way, even if it's a little inconvenient for me or whatever, I try to like make a plan to do it.
Yeah.
So, wow, what a world we live in. Anyway,
Thank you for doing what you can. It's really scary when we're part of the marginalized groups that are being targeted too.
yeah,
And so, like, doing something helps me feel like I'm saying F you, and I'm not. You're not gonna erase me right now.
damn right,
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, let me let's end on something that we can be positive about.
Love it.
If you can think of anything, what is a piece of advice that you've received that you think is worthy of sharing?
Oh, jeez. Okay, I've got a good one.
Okay. All right, hit me.
You do not need to finish everything on your plate when you're full. If you don't like the food, you do not have to eat it. If it's not going to go to waste. That food is not going to go to waste. If you eat something that you don't like, or you're past full, then it is waste.
Okay. See, I've never heard it, portrayed that way, and I'm okay. I can dig that.
I learned that from Tyler's mom. That's one of the reasons that I call them, that I adopted them even before I married Tyler.
Oh my God. I'm gonna tell you this though, they are too cute in person. Yeah.
What about you? Do you have something?
Yes, actually, I'll share a piece of advice that I just shared with somebody last night. It is not selfish to self-advocate for yourself. It is not selfish to set boundaries. It is not selfish to want to be treated better. It is okay to stick up for yourself, defend yourself, and to demand, actually, a certain level of respect.
Being assertive is respect. is
Yes.
being respectful.
It is. It is. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people pleasers out there. I used to be one of them. But just remember that it is okay for somebody to like not be pleased by you as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can't please everybody. But focus on pleasing yourself. Make that a priority, and it's okay to do so. It doesn't mean you're going to ignore everybody else.
Yeah. And if someone does that to you, then that's okay.
Yep. That's okay. And on that note, Slack Pack, because I think we said some good things here, we are going to get out of here now for this, now that I've learned as much as I can about my aunt, and now you have too. I'm going to put so many links in this description. You got to look at this stuff. I would love to see your comments. Are there any social media platforms that you want people to follow you on or anything like that? Or?
I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky, Mastodon, and Kara. All as my name without the apostrophe.
Okay. And I will put those in the description as well. We're going to get out of here for now. But do come back to my channel, Slack Pack, to see our bonus round of questions, 5 questions with Cerius Blaq. And we're going to do some music together. So we will see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye. Take care, everybody. Peace.